Hi, I'm Shannon.
And I'm Nicole.
Welcome to our Late Over, where we eat yummy snacks,
Share binge-worthy entertainment,
play games, and gossip.
but you have to go home early because we're not allowed to have sleepovers.
So let's get going before your mom gets here to pick you up.
Hello and welcome back to Late Over. I'm Nicole and this is my big sister Shannon.
Hey, welcome back.
How are we today? How are you feeling?
We are trucking along. I'll get the weather out of the way early. Man, it's been gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, I didn't think that I had seasonal depression out here in South Carolina, North Carolina. We're in Charlotte, so we're literally right on the border. But when the sun has come out the last couple days, we've spent time out there getting some vitamin D and just warmth and actually walking outside. Oh man, the mood boost is fantastic. So
It makes
feeling
a huge
feeling pretty
difference.
good. Has it been warmer
Yeah, I was
there?
able to go. Oh yeah, and I was able to go on a long walk on Friday, and I was like, I needed to be working, and I did work, but I was taking a walk that was supposed to be just like 10 minutes, and I just stayed out for like 35 because I was like, I really need this.
You needed to Pomodoro that walk, but then you Pomodoro'd the walk to be your work. And then it swapped.
It was
Pomodoro.
bad. It was bad. Pomodoro.
Pomodoro.
Yeah.
I keep saying that all week. It's like a mental stim here.
I do have to apologize to our audience, specifically our video listeners today, because I have what I think is a cold sore or a canker or just like a really terrible canker sore on my lip, and you can see it. Like it's not like inside my mouth, it's like bleeding into my lip. I don't know. I was reading that cold sores usually will like rupture and scab over. And so I'm like, I think that's how I'm going to know, but I've already had it for a couple of days and it hasn't done that. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just like a really bad cold sore. I did ask Chip if he cheated on me, and he said no. He's too busy.
Did you contract herpes? He is very busy.
So that's not it. So what I'm wondering is, so I went to the dentist this week, and can we just talk about the dentist? For just like
please.
part of our house. So I haven't been to the dentist since I basically got pregnant. Like I went to the dentist a few weeks before I got pregnant with Brooklyn. And I had made my next 6-month, dentist cleaning or whatever, but I was still so nauseous with Brooklyn. I was like, there's no way I'm going to let somebody like in my mouth for, 45 minutes plus. And so then,
my mouth is off limits.
So anyway, but then we moved and I like couldn't find a dentist and all that stuff. So I hadn't like gone to a cleaning for like 2.5 years basically, but I finally got the dentist, and they originally weren't able to get me in until April, but then I got on the wait list and I was able to get in like last minute this week. And so I was very brave. I went there. I had to get like tons of these crazy x-rays done, like whatever technology is advancing at the dentist. I don't understand, but they know everything.
Every time you go, it's something new.
Like the amount of like x-rays, and like I'm just standing there like hold still, and there's just like this thing moving around me like in 360, and they're like hold still. I'm like, if this is that faulty, like that I can't move at all, like seems like a you problem. But anyway.
My heart is beating. Is that a problem? Yeah.
So then, but I was like sitting all smug and stuff because they did all those like gum tests that they do to like check for like gum disease or whatever. And I had like one tooth that was like just barely receding after they were, not super happy to hear I hadn't got my teeth cleaned. So for like 2.5 years. So anyway, I was like kind of feeling good because I usually have like self-confidence issues when I go to the dentist. I just feel very self-conscious of my teeth. And then she's like, your lips are like pretty chapped. Like you probably need some chapstick or something. And I'm like, you know what? Like you're the one who's had your hands in my mouth for like 3.5 days practically. Like
it's been really dry. And yeah, your mouth has been all stretched. Come on. Bedside manner much?
You're in the room with me? So then all my smugness dissipated, and then I felt embarrassed again. I was like, can we just get this over with? But anyway, I did read that after getting dental work, you can get like canker sores and stuff. So nothing was wrong with me, but that might be why I have this thing on my lip. And I'm really apologizing if you can see it super clearly and it's grossing you out. Just turn off the video. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you
You
it's harder
know,
for me than it is for you. Okay.
I guarantee it. I had a procedure done a couple of years ago, a surgical procedure. Oh, kicking things. And I was intubated during it, and it was long. It was like 3 hours long. And when I came out of it, it was very painful. The recovery was very painful. Spoiler alert, this was my boob job. Okay. I don't know why I'm being cagey about this. I'm not trying to hide the fact that I got my boobs done. Like, probably everybody listening knows this. I had 4 kids. Okay. Best money we ever spent, by the way. Anyway, it was like a full reconstruction. We'll have to have an episode about this because
Oh
I
yeah,
I have
totally.
so much knowledge. But I had to be intubated because it's not just implants. I did the whole shebang and it took forever. Well, it was incredibly painful recovery. And I've had 4 C-sections and hernias fixed. And in the words of my 10-year-old a couple years ago, he said, "My mom loves surgeries. She's had a million of them." He told this to his church teacher at the time.
Oh geez.
And to be clear, I don't, but I have had a lot of surgeries. um, anyway, I was intubated, came out of it, so painful, everything so swollen. It was just whatever, worth it, but whatever. And I had a horrible canker sore, like mouth trauma, where the tube it had pinched my lip to my teeth for
Oh.
3 hours. And in fact, a tiny piece of my tooth got chipped because of it. And this is super common. Afterwards, I was like, they messed up my tooth. It's like this tiny chip, but it's super common because they have to like take it out and put it in. And
Oh
anyway,
god.
that canker sore put me over the edge. Like for 3 days, I was like, I could handle this if it wasn't for this pain in my mouth. I'm like, it's so bad. And my lip was so swollen. And that was on top of, my entire torso being 3 times its size and all the things. So anyway, I am so sorry for the canker sore pain and swelling, and I can't even tell. So I'm sure that
Okay.
our video people can't even
We'll
tell,
see.
but it
I
is
like
worse
got
for you. Yeah.
I got special mouthwash and you're supposed to like swish it around and I'm like, it's on like the outside of my lips. So I'm like trying to like close my lips and like switch it around. I honestly think I'm gonna have to like put it on a plate and like lean down and like
Oh,
stick my
that's
my
not going to feel
bottom
great.
layers.
That is that
It
that
didn't hurt at
is
all. It's like
Oh,
a
that's good.
it was fine. It was just like
Okay.
hydrogen peroxide, which doesn't
Oh,
usually hurt
okay.
canker
All right, that's
sores.
not
So
terrible. Okay.
that's the most difficult part of my life right now, probably. It is pushing me over the edge, actually. It's kind of making other things harder.
It totally does. That's the other thing that we struggle with in our house is my husband is allergic to dyes. Plus he has very sensitive mouth tissue. So if he eats a lot of sugar or like really acidic stuff, he really suffers with canker sores. It has been a journey, and I am a doctor, just so everybody knows. I have my honorary doctorate degree from the internet and also from having a lot of kids. And also, Nicole is a witch as far as energy goes. I am a witch doctor, okay?
Yeah.
I know how someone is sick. I know what their diagnosis is. I can smell different sicknesses. Like, I have a sixth sense for these things, and I could never be a nurse or in actual like healthcare because throwing up makes me like want to die, like dealing with human things. But anyway, I found out. I was able to narrow down, and I'm like, I think it's dyes, and so we try to avoid dyes. Maybe dyes will all be gone in the next short while. Shout out to
Maybe
RFK.
so.
Poor
Or
RFK.
do we want
Poor
to shout out
RFK.
RFK?
We do. I'm shouting him out, okay? All he wants is for our kids to be healthy. And I don't know why this is such a political issue, but he has that like vocal paralysis or something like that. There's something neurological that is messed up between his vocal cords and his brain, and that's why he speaks the way that he does. And a couple years ago, he said that he's super embarrassed of the way that he speaks, and he feels sorry that people have to listen to his voice. He is so insecure about it. And I don't know if you had seen this, because he had his hearing to be sworn in as, honestly, I don't know what it is, like the health secretary or something. And James Charles, the makeup guy,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, made a video and was like, how many packs of cigarettes a day do you have to smoke to sound like that? You sound so horrible. And he did this impression, and it was so sad. And people are united against James Charles, which is a great thing to be united
Yeah.
against. But it's like, dude, this poor man is incredibly, like, do your research. Do 2 seconds of research. Why does RFK Jr. sound like that? That's Googleable, okay? And
Yeah.
like so freaking rude. Anyway, so that I don't even, but if he can help get rid of dyes, that will make my life a heck of a lot easier because
Yeah.
the dye-free journey. So stay away from
Yeah.
dyes. I mean, not that you are
had to
sucking on food coloring at all times, but
yeah. I know it took me a solid 5 minutes to find dye-free banana peppers today. Again, it's always the
it's
journey with banana
ridiculous.
peppers. It's crazy.
So ridiculous. Just use turmeric, people.
Hey, I'm getting hungry. Can you go ask your mom for a snack?
Yeah. Do you want salty or sweet?
Both.
Welcome back to Snack Time, where we get a little salty and sweet with our lives. Nicole, why don't you let us know what you are feeling sweet on this week? Want to start with sweet?
Yeah, I'll start with sweet. I feel like my sweet and salty are sometimes like jokes and sometimes serious, but for some reason both my sweets and salty this week are kind of serious. But
okay.
My sweet this week is, I might have talked about it on the podcast just briefly, but as today is the day that we're recording is February 1st, I am sweet on Dry January that Chip and I did, which was we do Dry January, and it's like Dry Finance January, basically, where we just really don't spend money. Like we don't spend money on anything that we don't need. And it was honestly just a really great reset for me to completely shut down my impulse control. The answer was no. And at the beginning of the month, it was crazy to see how many things I almost bought, but it was like the decision just wasn't even there because we were committed to not buying anything extra. Now, I mean, there's things that we bought that we don't necessarily need, but none of them were impulse buys at all. There's just our normal monthly, like I got a chemical peel and, there's stuff that, I get done, but overall it was just like no impulse buys, nothing super unnecessary and anything like that. And I just feel super reset on being bombarded with ads. Like they're not affecting me. Like I don't feel tempted to buy stuff. At the end of the month, we ended up with a little over $300 extra.
Woo, that's great.
Which I was really proud of. And, we'll just kind of use that as our fund for this month. So like we can impulse buy up until that amount if we want to. But I honestly am just kind of like just chilling in the zen of, I already have tons of stuff. I'm feeling happy with what I have. And I just feel like it was a really good reset for me because I do tend to emotion shop for sure. Yeah. I'm feeling bored or I'm feeling upset or bad in any type of way. I a lot of times will go and just kind of like buy myself a little something. And not that that's bad at all, but it was just a really good reset for me to be like, okay, no, I can continue practicing other ways to deal with my feelings versus like emotional shopping. So yeah, I'm sweet on that. And
good job.
I'm not sure if we're necessarily in dry February, but we're just kind of keeping on and keep on keeping on in what we're doing. But I do feel the reset.
Yeah, I gotcha. That's great. Good job. Proud of you.
And then did end up returning a bunch of stuff, which one of the things that I returned was my Kindle Scribe. So that was a lot of money that I was already planning on returning. We kind of like went through everything and found a bunch of Christmas presents that were like, dude, we don't need this. Let's just go return a bunch of stuff. And we ended up with like $800 of returns.
Nice. Look at that. Girl math is that now you have $800 to spend. So
sorry,
that's
Amazon,
great.
But yeah, anyway. Cool. So yeah, that's my sweet. How about you?
Good job. I have been exercising that as well. I did make a couple of impulse buys that I did end up returning to Amazon. It was like, oh, that was a moment of weakness. I did not buy anything from Old Navy this month, which has been like a problem.
A miracle. Truly same. Seriously. Yeah. And then you get something and I'm like, I have to get it too. Or like Obviously. They text me every day. So I'm like, yeah.
Well, part of why I didn't buy anything from them is because they didn't have any good sales this month. And so we'll see. Also, there's a super cash coming in March. So
That was
But
like such a long time between Super Cash, I feel like. It's
I
like
think
the
it's just
longest that
because it
I've
was
seen in a
ending
while.
Christmas, you know, they came off of
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas, and then so all of us are recovering from our spending
Yeah.
issues. I only got a couple things, so I mean, I'm this is a good goal that we have set out for ourselves. And it is. It also makes you just see everything like, oh yeah, that's an ad. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And there's so much power in going to Amazon, adding something to your cart and being like, I'm going to leave it there for a while and see. And then going back and like, I don't need that.
Totally.
I really
it's
don't.
Even just adding it. It's like, and we kind of like, we had been thinking about it, but then when you said it, I was like, yeah, let's do purchase days. And just to wait till the purchase day and then to see it and kind of be like, I've survived another 10 days without this and I never even thought about it.
Right.
No.
Yeah. So. Totally. Well, my suite is a purchase that I just made this week, but it was necessary. I have this on video. It is my new NYX Buttermelt bronzer. Okay. I have been wearing, what is that one? It comes in the little box. I don't even remember the name. Is it Hoola? I think it's Hoola bronzer. I've been wearing Hoola bronzer for like 12 years, and this box has lasted me forever. And as I'm getting older, I've been trying to educate myself on how to better care for aging or starting to age skin. And part of that is my skin just keeps getting drier, even though I live in somewhere that's very humid. So part of it is that I need all cream, which I normally have been, but my bronzer was not cream. So this Buttermelt bronzer, it is packed, but it's totally creamy. It's not powdery at all. And it smells like, is it chocolate? I don't know. It smells incredible. And it was not expensive, and it is the most glowy. I have it on right now. Maybe you can see. You can see where I didn't blend it super well. That's thank you. I have been feeling so uggo. I saw a picture of me from this summer, and I was like, huh. Why am I so ugly now? Oh yeah, it's the tan. Okay. The middle of summer after I had been to the beach. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out my self-tan situation. But this alone on my face is like, she's alive. Oh my gosh. So
makes that difference.
That is a simple little sweet and just a tiny little buy. So
yeah.
So nice.
I did have an Ulta gift card that I used this month. I got one for Christmas, and I ended up buying, I don't know if you've seen it on TikTok, with this like Psychoplast B5 that's technically a diaper rash cream.
Oh yeah.
About it. I got it, and I've just been putting it on my nose so far, and my nose pores that are like always covered in blackheads are looking incredible. And so I'm trying to experiment now on my chin breakouts. It's like every month it'll be like centered on this side or this side. So I'm like starting to try it on my skin. I did break out a little bit, I think, but I'm going to just keep going with it just to kind of see. Like, I feel like my skin barrier is just destroyed from how much just stuff I've done to my face. But I was so surprised to see how well it did. And then I don't usually break out around my mouth too much, but my mouth gets super dry, and I've been putting it on my mouth at night, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's working so well.
Okay, I need to try because I'm a little skincare era here, but I'm just so low maintenance with skincare. And if I won't do it. It took me 30 years to get in the routine of washing my face at night. Like,
It's so crazy. It makes me hate you so much.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm disgusting. I hate my own self. It's not even like acne. I'm like, I've gone to sleep in makeup for so much of my life. And then but I have been, it's like flossing. I don't know why flossing took me so long to finally get the hang of. I do wash my face every single night. I don't sleep in makeup ever. But I'm so lazy with it. And maybe it's not just lazy. I'm just not in the habit. And so I'll get something and I'll do it for a little while, and then I just don't. And then I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, why is my skin so dull or dry or this? And it's like, oh, because you use CeraVe moisturizer twice a week. That's why, Shannon. Okay. Yeah. So let's put some effort in. And
I mean, I'd be pretty excited to see what your skin looks like after a consistent skincare routine. It's probably going to be like incredible.
Oh, thank you. I guess it's kind of like, but that's the thing. I don't want to like neglect it and then get to a point where I'm like, oh shoot, if I just would have been taking care of my skin, then it like would last nicely longer. So anyway, I'm gonna need to get some of that diaper cream for my face because my nose needs some help.
Yeah, I've been liking it a lot. So
Cool. Cool. All right. Well, what is your salty snack? What's upsetting you?
it's okay. So it kind of has to do with this canker sore. And this
Okay.
is a little bit, you'll have to help me unpack this because you can usually word what I'm thinking really well.
Okay.
I the entry point of this is that when I got a canker sore, my instant thought was, what have I done? Like my
Okay. Yeah.
instant thought was to blame myself.
Yeah.
And feeling like this inner guilt for like the entire day of like, what have I done to give myself a canker sore? And I feel like I get like that with when I feel anything health wise. I feel just like guilty and I blame myself for my acne that I've diligently tried to fix for 15 years now. I try to blame myself for like why I can't sleep and all of this stuff. And I feel like we have so much information nowadays that give us a lot of maybe insight as to why some of our health issues exist. And I do think that there are things that are valid that can help them or like help health issues. But I already have enough guilt problems as it is. I am so tired of blaming myself for chronic issues or acute issues or whatever it is. Like I get the flu and it's like, oh, it's probably because when we went to that one place, I didn't make the kids wash their hands and da 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 da,
Yeah.
and like trying to like
Yeah.
pinpoint it and then blame myself. But I'm so salty at how logically that makes zero sense, right? Logically, I'm like, just stop blaming yourself and just move forward with your life and just fix the problem at hand if you can. And if not, just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, internally, I just am so quick to feel guilty about absolutely everything. And so I'm salty about that. I'm salty about maybe the amount of information that we have that has made us feel like everything that's going wrong or like if we feel sick or off at all is something that we're doing wrong and we have to fix it. Maybe it's the information aspect of that, or maybe it's just my internal knee-jerk reaction is always just to blame myself for anything. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
very salty about it, and I'm like, I really am gonna let this go. I have to let this
Yeah.
go. This is not
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah.
So I'd love to
Yeah.
hear your
That's
thoughts.
I think it stems from wanting to be in control of your life. I think I actually saw an interesting video where this girl was talking about people who judge other people's health problems. And it's like, oh, well, it must be because they did this, this, this. They're doing that because they're afraid that something could just happen to them. And so if they can place blame on somebody else. Okay, well this person has PCOS. Well, that's because she did this, this, and this. Well, I'll never get PCOS because I don't do that. It's
Right.
underlying fear because actually you could just pop up with PCOS.
Yeah.
There's nothing you could do to, you know what I mean? And so it's actually underlying fear and because you want to be able to control it. So I think it is a control thing. I also think that and this is kind of interesting, maybe I'll just adopt this kind of as my salty soapbox here. But I think it's also a response to really anti-pharmaceutical I don't want to say rhetoric. That's not the word. Like mindsets. Because you kind of have both ends of the spectrum, right? You have I go to the doctor for everything. I'm on 50 different pills. Western medicine is going to solve all of my problems. Anything other than that is not scientific or whatever. And then you have the totally opposite side that's like, I'm not going to the doctor. I don't believe in any vaccines. All the pharmaceutical industry is a complete sham. You know what I mean? It's like, it's totally opposite. And when really, I think the answer is probably somewhere in the middle. And with different cases, it's like, okay, well, maybe with cancer, we need to err a little bit more on the pharmaceutical, or maybe with this, we need to err a little bit more on the natural. But I think that there is definitely a pharmaceutical industry, but there's also a, I don't know if it's crunchy industry or
It's just the
like the
wellness industry.
non-toxic, the wellness industry. Thank
It's a
you. That's
wellness
exactly what
industry.
it is. That is also big and also full of shams. I mean, vitamins and supplements, and we're a big vitamin and supplement family. Maybe it's placebo, maybe it's not, whatever, but like there's so much stuff. And I mean, that also dips a little bit into diet stuff, but it's like if you can convince your audience that, oh, you're sick because you're doing this. Now, to fix it, you need to do this, oh, and buy this. Or you
Yeah.
need to, you know what I mean? So obviously they're just trying to make money too. Welcome to capitalism. So, but I think that there's power in feeling like, oh, I can prevent this from happening. So I don't need medicine because medicine is the enemy.
Yeah.
And maybe not particularly with a canker sore, but it's like, no, I just have to take responsibility for absolutely everything because then I'm more in control of my health, or the health of my children, or this and this. And but it's kind of like, well, that's all fine and dandy until you have something that like you literally cannot fix. This is
Right.
literally, you've tried everything. And it's also another subject for a different episode, but I finally got there with my depression and ADHD, where I was doing literally everything I possibly could, and I was doing it for years. Doing the walking, I was dunking my face in ice water every single day. I was going out and seeing sun first thing, and I was doing these tapping things, and I was taking all these supplements, and I was eating all this food, and I was cutting out food, and I was doing all this, and nothing helped. Like literally nothing. And I was going crazy because I was not, well, maybe I'm still upset because I haven't drank enough water this week, or I'm depressed because this. And it's like, maybe you just are depressed because something's wrong with your brain. And obviously, and and I had always been so scared of doing everything or doing anything like medical for depression or ADHD, but my son got diagnosed ADHD last year, and I'm like, all right, this tracks a lot, and just a lot of the same symptoms. And so I finally was like, all right, I am not being the type of mom that I want to be, not on medication. I know the side effects of not taking medication, so I need to try it and see what the side effects are. And I was lucky enough to find something that worked amazing. I got a Wellbutrin and it changed my whole life. But then after the fact, I have this clarity, and I'm like, why did I wait so long? What was I so afraid of? Who made me so afraid? I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole tangent, but I think it's rooted in the same sort of thing where it's like, oh man, we got the flu because I didn't wash my kids' hands. So yeah, ultimately it's your fault, but like, yeah, who raised you to believe that everything is your fault? What culture, huh? What is that?
It's me.
Shame. What a shame around everything you do. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I think like I got very, very, very into crunchy living a few years ago. And I think it's kind of like permanently changed my brain in a way. And I think it is that level of power and control. And then a huge other aspect is, that fear, that people capitalize on fear and also share only the good side and only share what it can fix or what it did fix. But it really leaves out people who, have tried something. I mean, my acne, when I was at my healthiest, I was eating my cleanest, like my acne, for those of you who don't believe me, was terrible. It was awful. Like if anybody says they have acne and I'm like, oh, cool, let me show you a picture of my acne. Like I win this war. Like my acne at the peak of my bad acne a couple years ago, children would stop me on the street and tell me, what is wrong with your face? Like it was horrible. And during that time, it was so incredibly frustrating because I was doing everything. I was gluten-free, dairy-free,
you were perfect. Yeah.
I was I did not eat a single processed food. I was exercising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. I was exercising. I was like total non-toxic living, even down to like my hair was disgusting because I was using only natural shampoo, everything crunchy that I could, and my acne would not go away. And I do think that there's an aspect of this that deals into energy work, which is why I'm so passionate about energy work and meditation and stuff like that, that I do think that there are benefits that come when you let go. And like, that's an aspect of my acne that I know my skin is not perfect, but through like meditation and acceptance of my situation and just to like listen to myself and stop trying to fix it and like accept myself, like my acne cleared in a couple of days from being like absolutely horrible to just being clear. And then, it's kind of come back and I'm kind of trying to work through it. But I know that like acceptance was so powerful for me. And so I'm like, I want to continue to practice that. I feel like when we're in a state of fear and when we're in a state of control, we can't find the answers that we're looking for. But then when we're in this state of peace and openness and acceptance and everything, that I do think that we're more open to what might be able to fix it. Or in my case with acne, just that peace and acceptance and love helped significantly to like clear it. And it was like such a crazy experience when it happened. I was meditating and literally I felt my face tingling, and I no joke woke up the next day and my acne was like half gone. My entire face like cleared overnight. It was insane. So I know that there's an aspect of that I really want to continue to remember, that, I can't control everything. And sometimes letting go of that control is just, it's important to do. And a lot of wonderful things happen when I let go. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, it's like surrender. Obviously, being conscious of what you put in your body or on your body, around your body is important. But what's in your body all the time is your brain, your thoughts, your energy. And you have a liver, you have a skin barrier, that you have filters in your body that filter out a lot of bad things that you ingest. But you don't have a filter for your thoughts and the harm that they can do to you. And not just thoughts, but that white knuckling, I have to make sure everything is perfect because otherwise it's all gonna fall apart. But it's falling apart no matter what. So, just the surrender. There's beauty in surrender, and I think what that is like vulnerability. And I think that a key to life is vulnerability. That's a
but also your speech kind of motivated me to try to find ADHD meds that work. I've tried people.
You have.
I'm not 100% crunchy. I have tried several of them and they work for me so well, but I cannot deal with the side effects. Most of the side effects being I cannot sleep on ADHD meds. So if any of you ADHDers listening have meds that you think I should try, I cannot list off right now what I've tried so far. I've actually only tried 4 different medications at a couple of varying dosages, but I want my ADHD to be under control so bad, but I have to sleep. Otherwise my ADHD, otherwise I just am having panic attacks because I'm just exhausted. So
totally. Oh man, all the struggles.
I'm glad I got that off my chest. Did you loop in your salty, or do you have
I looped in the salty. I hijacked your salty, so
okay.
We're good.
I have an idea. Let's play truth or dare.
Okay, but it cannot get as crazy as last time. My mom got so mad at me.
Okay, welcome back to Truth or Dare. And if you missed last week's episode, I think it was just last week's episode that we kind of redid the format of Truth or Dare, and it's been a great time. So I guess it's been 2 weeks. Yeah. So it is now my turn to ask Shannon the question. Right. And that question is truth or dare?
Truth.
Okay. I would like you to tell the story, if you have one, of your worst date ever.
My worst date ever?
Date, yes.
Oh boy. Okay. Hold on, let me think. Okay. I don't know where I met this boy, but when we grew up in Parker, Colorado, and he was from, I think, Aurora, which was kind of far. Anyway, I went out to a movie with him, and it was a scary movie. And every time something was scary, he would touch me, go like this, and he'd go, "Ugh," every time. And this was a feature film, okay, a feature length film. And at first I was like, huh. And then he was being like really obnoxious, and the ick was strong with this one. And and I think he was trying to be cool. But he kept like, "Ah," or the whole movie. Every time I think he would feel scared, this is what he would do to like play it off.
Mhm.
By the end of that movie, I was like, get me out of here. Somehow we ended up really far away from Aurora, where we went to that movie, somewhere out near the airport. Okay, this millennials and the danger that we put ourselves like this is like so crazy. I ended up at this house with this guy, and he just like wouldn't take me home. I was just stuck, and he drove me, and I was just stuck, and I had the ick from this movie, and he was being weird, and he kept trying to kiss me, and I did not want to kiss him after the 2 hours of him embarrassing me in the movie theater. And I was like, oh, cool. Am I going to have to call my parents to come out near the airport? Which, by the way, they did not know I was out there. They had no idea.
Obviously.
Obviously. I'm at work. I worked a lot. And then I worked a lot. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get trapped out here, and my parents are gonna kill me. Like, it would have been a better option for me to call the cops on myself than to have one of my parents come rescue me from the situation that I lied to them about being in. I don't remember how it finished, but I will always, every time I've gone to see a scary movie in the theater, I mean, this was almost 20 years ago. Since then, I get like triggered. Like somebody is going to be like, "Ah," and it wasn't scary. It was just so bizarre. It was so weird. So anyway, don't remember that boy's name. Never hung out with him again.
Yeah.
But that was weird. It was really weird.
I'm glad you made it home safe.
Hey, yeah, me
My
too.
goodness.
I look back on that the older I get, and I'm like, oh my gosh. That was just that. I'm glad that turned out the way it did. So
Nobody knew where you were.
No, but not a soul. And I didn't know any of those people either. And I didn't even have my car. So cool. My phone was probably dead. You know, how dangerous could this be? It's fine. Oh man.
Oh, man.
I know you've got it. You've got one teed up, and I am waiting. Please share.
I'm like, I do have one, but I'm like, man, I should have practiced telling this story. It's not anything completely shocking. I had broken up with somebody. This was in college. I had broken up with somebody, and then my really good friend set me up with her boyfriend's roommate, and he basically didn't tell me anything that we were going to be doing on the date. He just said he was going to pick me up at whatever time, and that we were going to this one restaurant, which I don't remember the name of it, but it's kind of significant because when he showed up to my apartment, he did not have like a car or anything, and we just walked.
Oh no.
And
Welcome
it was a long walk. It was like almost a 40-minute walk.
Oh my god.
And so we're like going, and he was like from Portugal or something like that, or some type of, I think he had like an English accent or something. And you could tell that this English accent was his entire personality. Like he thought he was the hottest person that's ever walked the planet because he had an English accent. And so we're on this walk, and it's like we've never met before, but he was trying to be like very like touchy, and he did not ask me the entire date. He did not ask me a single question about myself. It was always just about him.
Cool.
So anyway, we get to the restaurant, and I'm like breaking a sweat because I'm like, dear Lord,
she's got 12,000 steps.
Yeah. And so I get down and start looking at the menu, and the waiter comes by, and this guy was like, oh, I'll take waters and we'll get 2 fish and chips. And he just ordered for me because he's from England, and so he wanted me to get fish and chips from Rexburg,
the
Idaho.
British experience. Like, oh my gosh.
I don't know. So then he kept doing really weird like flirtatious things throughout the date, where I would like, you know, he was talking about working out, and I was like, oh yeah, I really like to run. I don't like lift a ton. He's like, well, I wish you were my running coach, because then my running coach would be hot. He was saying those kind of like weird pickup flirtatious lines that I was kind of like,
oh boy,
swing and a miss, you know, like that is very awkward. So anyway, the date of eternity continues because we get back to my apartment. I'm like, okay, thanks so much, like, for the miserable time, because he was insufferable. And he just walks into my apartment, and I was like,
Oh.
So, and I didn't know like what to do or what to say, but I was like, oh yeah, I have like homework that I have to do. And he was like, oh, well, how about we go longboarding or something like that? And I was like, or I think he had trapped me or something. Like he had asked about something way earlier in the night, and then like somehow knew I didn't have something else going on. But the way that he asked it, or like the way that we were talking, it wasn't super obvious that he was like asking me, are you still available to continue this date? Or maybe we got back to the apartment, he's like, okay, are you ready for part 2 of the date? And I was like, what? Like, we're on a part 2. We've already been on a date for like 2.5 hours.
Oh, gosh.
Somehow he knew I had
you walked for 2 of the hours.
I know. Ate fish and chips. By the way, I don't like fish and chips. And when he ordered for me, I actually laughed. And I was like, oh. And I like didn't know what to say. He's like, well, like, I would just want to like share with you my culture or something like that. And I was like, oh, like, I
want to share with you my culture. Oh my gosh.
So anyway, he's like ready for part 2, and he somehow knew that I had a longboard. It must have been some type of information that was shared amongst those who set us up. But he was like, okay, you're going to get your longboard. I'm going to go get my longboard. We're going to go like longboard at the park. And I was like, okay, well, at least like it's hard to talk when we're longboarding.
Yeah.
So I thought. So he's like some professional longboarder or something. He's like so amazing at longboarding at like the flat park. Like, so he was like trying to teach me to like, he wanted to like do the whole hold my hands thing in longboard. And I was like, I can longboard. Like, please don't touch me. Like, I know how to do this.
Gosh.
So anyway, went on after that. Then he did actually, after he said he claimed the part 2, he walked me back to my apartment, and I was like, okay, seriously, bye. And he was like, so what do you want to do now? And I was like, I have to go. Like, I have
be away from you immediately.
And he like starts like flirting and like basically like confessing that he like likes me so much, and he like had such a great time and all this stuff. And anyway, I eventually was able to like pawn him off, but I know it took a lot of time. Like it took like 10 to 15 minutes for me to finally be like, I had to literally be like, I cannot hang out any longer. It was so weird.
To leave. Oh my god.
So anyway, I don't know if this story sounds interesting or not, but the funny part about it too is that I went to my friend after I went on the date with him, and I was like, and she's like, I'm so sorry. She had set me up. This was like her boyfriend's roommate, and she had set me up, but she didn't really talk to her boyfriend about it because she like was kind of good friends with this guy. And so she didn't really mention it, but she's like, after I set you guys up, I had mentioned to my boyfriend, Nicole's on a date with so-and-so. And he was like, what? He's not a good guy. Like, he's not like, and so she was actually, I don't know the history, but she was actually kind of like concerned for my safety. She was like, was everything okay? Like, was everything like on the level? Like all this stuff. Yeah, he was just really freaking annoying. Like, he didn't leave me alone. So anyway, it was a date from eternity. Not my last date that lasted ages and ages, but definitely memorable. And fish and chips from Rexburg aren't good. So Rexburg, Idaho.
The vibe. That's what we need to do a gossip hour on. We need to find BYU, Idaho horror dating stories. That's what we need to do. Because I guarantee you there's a billion of them. Yeah.
Horrifying.
These poor boys and girls, everybody sent there and said, you need to get married pronto. And these people have never dated. And they should not be in any close proximity to the opposite sex at all. So poor little
they be thirsty.
They be
the worst
BYU
place.
I do is I was gonna say I got engaged at that park. Hey, I was 19. The flat park.
You knew
what is that
park?
Porter Park. That's what it's called.
Porter Park. Yep, we did just circles around that, and he was very impressive. Okay, he knew how to longboard around that park. So
that makes for good husband material right there. Oh man.
Yeah.
What is this? Ugh, it's just my diary. It is so embarrassing.
No way. We have to read it. Welcome back to Dear Diary. Today, we are going to be graced with an excerpt from Nicole's childhood journals. Nicole, take it away.
Okay, so it's a childhood item. I'm adjusting the screen, sorry, because I want to be able to show this.
Okay.
This was done in February of 2003, so I should have done the math, but I think that I was in second grade. Oh yeah, I am in second grade because there's a little excerpt on the back. So I'm in second grade, February 2003, by Nicole R. Bunch. So this is not a journal, it's a book that I wrote.
Okay.
And the name of this book is Horny.
God. Is that an elk?
Oh, you're going to find out all about Horny.
Oh my God.
Horny by Nicole. This book is dedicated to my baby cousins, named Brendan and Kara. I love you. Guess what, Brendan and Kara? I still love you. Okay, I'm sorry I dedicated this book to you.
Shout out Brendan and Kara. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Okay, I'm going to try not to make any more comments. I'm just going to read this for what it is. Okay.
Okay, I'm probably going to mute my mic.
You might need to. In the woods, there lived a deer and its herd. The deer was named Horny. He was the slowest and chubbiest in the herd.
Slowest and chubbiest? Oh my lord. Oh.
Sometimes the deer would say, "Where is Horny?" And he would be a mile behind. One day, Horny's family was drinking from a lake and they heard something. Roar, roar. Not in excitement, they ran. Out of nowhere, a mountain lion jumped out and killed Horny's family.
Not the mountain loin killing Horny's family. A killer loin.
Horny was still alive because he was so chubby he looked like a rock with a stick on it. Horny was very sad, but right before his eyes, a fox ran across him. Horny said to himself, "Do fox really run that fast?" Horny was walking and he saw a extremely enormous, colorful snake going as slow as can be right in front of him. Is he the longest snake in the world? Horny laid down against a tree, but on the other side was a sleeping, unusual brown bear. All he said was, "Hi." Horny went to another tree. After a long rest, Horny was walking again. He saw a very, very long stream. It seemed like there was enough water, so Horny took a drink. Horny was ready to explore, but right then Horny saw a herd of deer. "Hi, you guys. I'm so glad to see you. Let's go play." "No," all of the deer said. "The mountain lion will eat us. We can't." Horny thought for an hour. He couldn't think of anything.
Horny's an idiot.
Finally, "We're going to look like a pack of lions. Now, here are your guys' orange and yellow leaves." Horny and the herd scared off the mountain lions.
Good job, Horny.
My poor teacher.
Oh my gosh. You know, who was your teacher? Do you remember your second grade teacher?
It says in the back who it was. It was Mrs. Plummer, and she wrote an explanation. "This piece of writing done by your son or daughter was motivated from a book by our most recent author of the week. Mr. Leo Leoni is best known for his children's fables with wonderful life lessons. The book the children have modeled after is entitled Swimmy."
She had to clarify. She's like, "We're not reading books with the word horny in it, guys."
In the Leoni book, a little fish brings his friends together to beat their enemy and live a peaceful life. Your child has picked a new group of characters and setting, but continued the lesson given in Swimmy. So she underlined every time it said Swimmy. I think that was intentional.
Oh, Horny, you chubby, chubby man.
I thought there was a part where it was said that he was so slow.
He was
slowest and
behind them
chubbiest
at the
in the
beginning.
herd.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
My other
that's
favorite part of
gold.
this is that every time that I said the word herd, I didn't do my H very well, so it looks like nerd.
Nerd. Yeah. Nerd alert.
A
Nerd
deer and
alert.
its nerd. So anyway,
Oh,
that was
thank
horny,
you for
and
sharing horny with us. We just need a little bit more horny.
I have no further comment. It was honestly a great
Oh,
story.
oh, thank you. I
So,
mean, really? I was captivated, so I could not wait to see what happened because I had never read the original Swimmy. So copy it,
oh
send it to my
man.
children.
Ugh, my mom is outside. I have to go. Quick, before you go, what should I binge this week?
Before you guys leave, we need to tell you what you should be binging this week. And what do you think? Do you have something for them?
Yeah. Is this now my second uh pseudo political reference tonight? Yes. I have been listening to Candace Owens, and I've never been one to love very left or right crazy like political rage baity type videos. Not my thing. Um but Candace Owens has been the queen of this Justin Baldoni and Taylor Swift and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and all of this things on TikTok. And so for the first time ever, I went and I listened to some of her podcasts on this. And then today, she just dropped a podcast about I believe it's the former president of France, whose wife, this is real, okay, is a biological man. And they've lied about it their whole lives. And she knows this entire story. And she's literally like in danger for talking about this and bringing the story to light. Every journalist who has investigated this, which this whole scenario has these rings of like worldwide child sex trafficking, like it is crazy. Every journalist who has gone down this road has been suicided, like they have died. And
Oh,
so
really?
she knows all the stuff. She's partnered with this guy, and I think she's doing it in a 4-part series, and it's about Brigitte Macron, and that is the wife of the former French president. I think his name was Emmanuel. And
Mm-hmm.
it's I believe what's going to be next is Brigitte says she had a brother growing up. Well, the whole thing is that this is actually the brother, and the real
Mm-hmm.
Brigitte is no more, and brother became Brigitte. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And the way that she does this investigative journalism is very interesting. I like that she's independent she's like on her own. She's not part of the Daily Wire. And I have to commend her for the balls to take on some of the stuff that she's talking about. And I mean, take it or leave it as fact, but it is very interesting. And really, I mean, like she's done the investigation. She knows her stuff, and it's
Yeah.
captivating. So I think
Interesting.
it's fun to hear, maybe not some polarizing political opinions, but just some real life like craziness that's going on. So
Mm-hmm.
Candace Owens, been listening to her on Spotify, and it's been fun. What have you
Nice.
been binging?
A few months ago, my book club read Funny Story by Emily Henry,
Oh
and
yeah.
I kind of started it, and I had to re-rent it from the library several times just because I had it on audiobook and all this stuff. But I finally finished it this week, and I really, really liked it. I thought that it
Oh
was
cool.
kind of a different romance because it wasn't just like pure romance. It actually brought in a lot of very real life elements of relationships and of, trauma and fear and vulnerability and all that stuff. And I actually related to the main character a lot, and like the
Mm-hmm.
way that she thinks and the way that she felt and everything like that. And she kind of like very quietly like emerges from the shadows of just you know, kind of hiding behind who she is into like owning who she is and like creating a life around what she wants and not creating a life around anybody else and all that stuff. It sounds like bad saying I relate to this character so much. She still gets she's married to the guy, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, she just is like overcomes this inability to like really let people in and stuff like that. So I really liked it, and yeah, I'd recommend it. I mean, it was definitely an easy type listen, but there was some interesting elements to it. So it was a little, I feel like a lot of romance books that I read are, you know, kind of made up problems in some ways, but it was serious. So yeah,
well, realistic. That's been
on
on my TBR for a long time, but the several months, I've been on the wait list for that for months and months and months.
Yeah.
So maybe someday.
Someday.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good binge. Well, this was a great layover. It's time to pack it up, grab your pillow, and go sleep at home in your own bed. Yeah.
Yeah. Mom's here, but we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for listening. We love you.
Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.